Once we've edited our music on our digital workstation and we're happy with the fact that we have all of the music and we've got all the gaps sorted, and we've removed or reduced any of the noises that we want to and improved any of the analog edits, etc. At that stage, we then need to make a decision about the overall sound, and that's where we choose to do what we call equalization, and that is choosing different frequencies from low, medium to high, and either raising them or lowering them in order to get a more natural overall sound. Bearing in mind that these recordings, particularly off the early analog tapes, were recorded and monitored on what we might consider quite primitive equipment. They would only have been listening on one speaker, and the speaker would have been far inferior to the speakers that we have today. So although they recorded the information on the tapes, they wouldn't necessarily have been able to hear it quite as well as we can today when they were playing it back then. So that we have a certain amount of leeway in how much we can change the sound in order to get an overall so that we have a bit more leeway in how we can change the sound in order to get a much more natural overall sound at the end of the process. The equipment that we chose to use for this project in order to do the equalization was EMI's own analog EQ units, which we have units here in the room here. And we decided that we wanted to keep this as natural as possible, and so that although we've gone into the digital domain high resolution 96 kilohertz, we came out again in order to make an analog EQ, and then we transferred it onto the SACD authoring system, and in doing that it gets converted into what is called DSD format, and that is the format that SACD works in. So the EQ process is a way from going from one digital format out into the analog domain and then back into another digital format. And the one thing that I would say about the EMI EQ that we used is that it's a very natural sounding EQ. It's been in use for 50 or more years here at the studios. It's still used by all of the mastering engineers here, and particularly for old EMI recordings, it has a real quality that you can't really match with any other equipment. The final stage of the process then was to author the SACD masters on a separate system, and that involved creating the cutting master tape and then a real-time final quality control process, quality control or QC, and that was the last of several QC processes, so that each disc in the project was listened to through 3 or 4 times at least, from start to finish. And by the end of it, we've certainly got to know the recordings very, very well. The team here have really enjoyed working on this project, and we've put a lot of hours into it. We've listened to a lot of tapes and a lot of records, and I think the sound now of these Furtwängler recordings is possibly the best that it's ever been in terms of what the consumers can hear. And we really hope that you manage to enjoy these recordings as much as we have, and I hope they bring enjoyment to you for many years to come.